karate chopping my hips, bending my knees, keeping my core braced throughout the entire movement. This is how to do a barbell back squat. In this exercise, the first thing you're going to want to do is set up your safeties. So make sure that you have safety bars here in case you do need to bail on the squat. Maybe you're down and you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right. You can just drop the squat bar down and you're good to go. You're safe and you don't have to worry about that bar crushing you. Second thing is to make sure that your J hooks are set up at the proper height. So to do this, it's going to take a couple trial and errors, and that is totally fine. It took me about 2 or 3 times to set this one up, so don't worry about, looking dumb or feeling like you're not going to get it first try. Okay, it's totally fine. You just got to find what works for you. But the proper height is where you can stand under the bar, stand straight up, and all you have to do is walk back out of the squat rack. Okay, when you finish, you can walk right back in and drop it down without worrying that the J hook is too high or too low. Okay, that's how to set up the J hook. Now, when it comes to the actual squat itself, you want to make sure that your feet are slightly wider than shoulder width apart with your toes pointed slightly outwards. And I want to emphasize that every person is going to have a different anatomy, so find what position works for you, but a really good starting point is to have your feet a little wider than shoulder width with your toes pointed slightly outwards. So what this looks like for me is like this, toes pointed outwards, and that is my starting squat position. Now from this position, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm pushing my knees outside. I'm not letting my knees cave in. I'm thinking about pushing my knees to the outside. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna karate chop my hips backwards. And then I'm going to think about pushing my knees to the outside as I squat down. And then I'm gonna come back up. So from the side, it looks like this. My feet are wider than shoulder width, toes pointed outwards, karate chop my hips, push my knees to the outside, and squat down. Come back up. Now, underneath a barbell, this is what it's gonna look like. Think about you having tennis balls underneath your armpits here and you're trying to hold them in place. Next thing you wanna do is think about pushing your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. That is gonna help to set your lats and keep your upper body in a stable position and make sure that your core is braced. Okay, so I'm gonna get underneath the barbell here. I grab the barbell just where these rings are right here. Place my barbell right on top of my shoulder blades. And I'm thinking about squeezing those tennis balls under my armpits, tucking my shoulder blades into my back pocket, bracing my core, keeping my spine neutral, standing straight up. I'm gonna take a couple steps backwards, make sure my feet are in the proper stance, so slightly wider than shoulder width, toes pointed outwards, karate chopping my hips, bending my knees, keeping my core braced throughout the entire movement, standing straight up. Karate chopping my hips, bending my knees, and standing straight up. When I'm done my set, I'm gonna step forward and walk right into the squat rack so that I know that I'm safe. And that is how to do a barbell back squat.